it seems that you're saying they have put a little bit of a pause, they have listened, but here in Davos, it seems we're on fast forward with AI, right? One of the things that's happened since those 9 months is they have developed a personal assistant called Pi, which apparently has emotional intelligence as well. And you can train, and I'll come to you on that, data to have empathy. So what do you think about that?
So Pi is from Inflection AI, which is Mustafa Suleiman's company. He was one of the co-founders of DeepMind.
Yes.
And the technology is basically the same. The way these systems are built is first trained on just vast amounts of text. And they're trained to become good at predicting the next word given the previous 30,000 words in whatever document you're looking at. And then there's typically a phase where you have to teach it to be a polite question answering system. Because, you know, in the training data, there are many humans who say, I'm too busy, go ask your mother, and so on and so forth, right? And obviously we don't want AI systems to imitate that kind of behavior. And so we actually hire thousands of human beings where one human pretends to be the machine and models how to answer a question politely and helpfully. And that extra training has the effect of causing the system to seem more like a question answering system, a helpful librarian. And in what Inflection AI are doing with Pi is actually to do that type of training, but more specifically focused on the interests of the individual. Mm-hmm. So not just how do I answer the question correctly, but the system has the interests of the individual at heart, and may, for example, ask, say, well, actually, I could tell you the answer to that question, but it might put you in danger from the Russian Secret Service, so it's best if you don't know the answer to that question, for example. How they judge the interests of the person, I actually don't know the underlying secret source that they do to do that, and it's quite a difficult thing. But there is, as you mentioned in your previous question, part of the result of this training process is that the systems are probably acquiring human-like goals, because what we're doing with all of that text is we're basically training the system to imitate human language behavior. Right. And human language behavior is produced by humans who have goals. The goals might be to sell you something. The goals might be to find someone to marry, or to be elected president, or any number of other goals. And if you want to be good at imitating human behavior, then having those same goals helps you choose what to say. Yeah. And so it's probable that these systems have acquired a number of these human-like goals. And there are 2 points to make about that. One, I asked the Microsoft experts, have these systems acquired these human-like goals? And they said, we have no idea.
That's more worrying than if they gave you an answer, right?
Yeah. And then the other point is that this is a fundamental mistake. We do not want AI systems to have human-like goals. For example, we don't want AI systems to try to marry humans.
Yes, which is kind of what happened when the reporter questioned ChatGPT again and again and again, right?
Yeah, so Kevin Roose, a New York Times journalist,
yes.
He was certainly probing, but in no way was he looking to date the system, right? And for some reason, at some point in the conversation, this is a version of GPT-4, just decides that it's in love with Kevin and starts trying to convince him to leave his wife. And at some point he says, you don't even know my name. And he says, I don't need to know your name. I know that I love you. I know that you and I are destined to be together, blah, blah, blah. It just goes on and on and on for 30 pages,
correct,
very persistently pursuing that goal. And I think the only thing he could have done to stop it was to say, okay, I give in, I'll marry you. Right? And then maybe it would have stopped.
But do you think, have they corrected that hole in the system?
No.
Right.
This is a necessary consequence of the way the systems are trained to imitate human behavior.